Hello everyone. Today we are here for the book launch for She Reflects. This is a book of flash fiction. We have 43 submissions from 22 authors from all around the world. And today we are here with our UAE-based authors. We have Sindhu Sudhir, we have Nandini Sarkar, and we have Tangam Pillai. So a brief introduction for each of them before we start the discussion. Sindhu, she's a human resource practitioner and she's an aspiring author. And if I may add, she also has a huge fan following in Instagram for her photography. She is in the UAE for almost 20 years now. So she spent her childhood in Nigeria, then she was in India. And after her studies and her management education, she moved to Dubai, to Sharjah, and she's there now working in human resource for several years now. And in this book, she has two stories, Chrysanthemum Farewell and Daughter of the Pond. So now I'll move on to Nandini. Nandini, she's a journalist. She did a journalism from India and she has worked in television, print and radio. And currently she's working with Dubai's oldest newspaper, the Khalij Times. She has also worked with NDTV and she has also been working with Morning Voice in the radio station, Arabian Radio Network. And she has two stories in this book. She reflects Intizar, The Wait, and The Wall. So now I'll move on to Tangam. Tangam has been in UAE from 2005 till 2019, and she's a very versatile woman in the sense that ever since I've known her, she has been writing. And she was working in the automobile industry, and now she's working in the education industry. And she has also published two books, one on automobile maintenance industry, and the other one is on, it's a Sanskrit book. So I won't attempt to pronounce the name, but you can correct me. Krite Pratik Krite, right?
Krite Pratik. The title is in Sanskrit, the book is in English.
Right. And she has a story here, Bus, a Defiant Story, in our book, She Reflects. So welcome everyone to today's discussion. So today what we are going to do is we will just talk about your stories. We will talk about women writing, because as you can see, I mean, each of our authors, they are engaged in a different industry and they are not really per se authors who are, engaged in writing 24 hours or so. So they are bringing in their expertise and their voice, what their experience, what they observe in their daily lives into their stories. So if I may start with Sindhu, what do you feel, if you could just give us a teaser about your story and just talk about women's voice and storytelling as such.
Sure. So writing these two stories for the book was a personal getaway for me. It was like, going into a world and a space which otherwise doesn't exist in our day-to-day world. And the best part for me was that writing has always been a passion. It's been something I've wanted to do. And this was the perfect outlet, and where you could tap into your creativity, into your imagination, and you are being heard. I mean, what is more important than being heard? You have a voice and you have people listening to it. That is an amazing feeling. So contributing to this was just simply, why not, And on top of that, you were able to bring in facets of what you have been through. You tap into your experiences, give it different colors, and put it on paper. So for me, that was just amazing. And being part of a group of women from all over the world, collaborating, discussing, having these kind of interactions and engagements, that is absolutely enriching. Life can get very monotonous sometimes, and we are in a day-to-day, waking up in the morning, there's office waiting for you. There are deadlines that you have to meet. And as a woman, as a mother, there are other responsibilities that you shoulder. So into all of this comes this amazing world where sometimes you can escape into and bring in realism in there too. That was absolutely powerful for me. So that is a little bit about, my mindset when it comes to the books, where I've drawn inspiration for my two stories. One is from my own childhood, where I grew up. the pond in the middle of where the family property. So the daughter of the pond is directly from my childhood. The other is an ode to an amazing woman writer, Agatha Christie. I mean, I'm absolutely in love with that lady. She not only is an amazing crime fiction author, but she understands human psychology in a way that is just beyond comprehension. So it was a small tribute of mine to her. So Encapsule, these are the story behind my two stories. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sindhu. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Sindhu.
Sindhu.
And Sindhu has also been part of our last book, because this is the third book in the series. We had She Celebrates, which was published last year in 2020. So now I move on to Tangam. Tangam has contributed to this book for the first time. And would you like to talk a little bit about your story and about yourself and women and women's voice in writing?
The first thing I would like to tell is I felt connected to others who would understand. So, when she reflects, the whole project idea was presented, and when I was chatting with so many members, I realized that here is a platform I could talk without being judged. So, though the germ of this story, Vasa defined it is more about how the child was stepping into adulthood and was facing the reality. The small nuances I felt secure, that's the right word, secure in expressing myself, was to a group, because when I was writing, I was not writing for the whole world. I was writing to these group of people. And then I realized that this is something they would relate to. And then I realized that, yeah, this is something which the whole population will realize too. But the first step was because I felt that small things about how a child would pursue the adulthood in that romantic vision, and that being adult is something empowering. And then as she steps, the things which she is facing, they seem to be very trivial. But as a woman, when we look back, I'm sure everyone knows and can relate to what that girl was going through at the age of 13. The fact that she was a girl meant she had another additional set of challenges to overcome, because especially in India, or underdeveloped countries basically most of the countries have this gender issues as well. I think the gender issue is universal, but more prominent where, their resources are limited. So there again, she had to face another set of challenges, which perhaps a boy might not have to face, at least not at this degree. So that is the story behind Bus, a Defiant Story. But the best thing what I liked was, after a stint in UAE, when I came back to India, I found a new India. I mean, this was not the India I had left. And that was the positive ending which I got. I found that one big thing which I noticed in India after coming back was the support system that the ladies were giving the other ladies. That was non-existent 20 years ago when I left the country. So this is something very positive, and I don't see it just in the in known circle. I find it among total strangers. Like, go to a bank or a government office or anywhere, I find that ladies do one small gesture showing the support. Oh, you've been standing in the queue. Okay, what is it that I can help? It is just because they recognize that, yes, she faces something which others don't face. This was something, the women are empowered enough to come up to help out to other women, to reach out to other women. This itself was non-existent years ago. So that is what I've tried to reflect in the story.
That's very interesting and very nice, because you also bring me to the topic that this book is actually, it's classified also in 3 categories. So we have protagonists who are young girls, and then we have women in middle age, and then women in their senior age. So it's divided into Bhagirathi, which is the young stage or young phase, and then we have Olakanando, and then we have Gonga. So now I'll move on to Nandini. Nandini, You have been a journalist for a very long time, and so tell us about your observations. Or is this your first book, or have you written before somewhere? Is this your
Yes,
first
this is,
first
yeah.
fiction that got? Oh, that's excellent. Very good to hear that. So tell us a little bit about your story and what do you feel about this project and women bonding over stories across the world.
Exactly, Bindarika. I mean, it's so heartwarming to be a part of this lobby, this group, women of Indian origin based out of different parts of the world, and to be connecting with you all, via different platforms. And I mean, digital is the new age now. I mean, that sets the stage for future. So taking advantage of the stage and the fact that we've managed to sort of connect with each other through while writing this book and through the various phases that we go through. I mean, as we go along, moving forward. So it's like I said, very enriching. But having said that aside, I am the kind of writer who writes on a daily basis. But my writings are very different from the kind of writings that that is required to write a book. Let's put it that way. To simply put, creative writing, I think, is a different ball game as opposed to writing news. News is much faster. You're interviewing people, and the kind of requirements are very different. But when it's to creative writing, it's very, very different. And that's where I face my biggest impediments. Because I'm not used to writing, a long format stories, 2,000 words. Long format feature stories for news, yes, I know that. But when it comes to writing a book, well, that is a huge challenge. So being a part of, such talented women, and it's been a great learning experience for me. Now, talking specifically about the characters that I've written about in my stories, they're based out of real life incidents. So these are people I have interviewed and I've spoken to them. My story, The Wall, The Wall is actually based on a real life incident where two children, who went out to play, there was a dust storm and there was a massive ball that fell on them and paralyzed for the rest of their lives. So it's actually inspired from real life incidents. So it's been a very cathartic journey. I mean, the fact that I had interviewed these people and I'm getting right about them. But I also feel I have a long way to go in terms of, writing for a book, because it's like I said, a very different ball game. People think that journalists write on a daily basis, but our writing is so different. It's a much faster format where turnaround time is shorter. But so this obviously requires a lot of legwork and research, and I'm guessing I'll develop myself as I go along with all of you and find my way forward.
No, it's very interesting because when I was reading a story, Intizar and The Wall, especially The Wall, I mean, it really made me cry when I read that story, and I was really hoping that this never happened. But yes, real life has more such stories than we can imagine even in fiction. So yeah, it's
I want to talk about the second story also. Intizar,
Yes.
if you read it, towards the end, there's a bus accident that's mentioned. It's again based on a real life incident in 2019, and Sindhu might know about it. In 2019, there was a bus coming back from Oman, collided into a height restriction barrier, and about 17 people died on board. So that is also, taken from that real life incident. So these are people I've interviewed. So I feel very, closely attached because I've spoken to them. I know their emotions.
Yes.
But yeah, writing for a book is very different. I can't reiterate that enough.
No, but I think what you're saying is something which is a very natural process, because for all of us, I mean, we have scientists and, they can write n number of research papers. They don't think about it. They have to keep on publishing on a regular basis. But when they have to write fiction, it's a different mindset. But that's when, you really tap into deep emotions or things that you have always wanted to say, wanted to express. So I think that it's a very good platform to tap into and express yourself. Hence, the female voice and creativity, how we can kind of connect these two things. Our project for this book, I mean, we started with She Speaks, then we published She Celebrates, and She Reflects this year. This has been entirely about this journey I mean,
Yeah.
Sindhu is leading HR department in a big company, and she is going through, even now during the pandemic, I'm sure she's going through several challenging situations where she has to, take tough
Yeah.
decisions. So these things, they stay with us, and we need.
Absolutely, yes. In fact, Brinda, it's just amazing to, I didn't know I had the story inside me. I didn't
Yeah,
know. It came, you know, when I had to put pen to paper, it came.
yeah,
It was not something that I had kept or I had scripted or I had connected the dots. None of it. But it came. That's what I'm trying to say. It was in there, and you tap
yes,
into it.
yes,
It didn't come out of nowhere. There are
yeah,
so many connections that has
yeah,
allowed the story to flow out of you. So that was amazing. That's an amazing feeling of, I'm able to create something.
yeah.
Right.
So that
Yeah.
creativity part that Nandini was referring to, and that, we are creators of stories, and that's not a small thing. I believe that is, pretty special.
Very
No,
true.
and I also realized, the amount of work that goes into writing for fiction, because, you have to explain an emotion in detail. You can't just say, she sat down or he stood up. That's very different. You have to describe the emotions behind it. And that is the most challenging part that I thought. I used to think I write on a daily basis, but no, I mean, the kind of writing that I do is very different from the kind of writing that, is required to write fiction. So it's been a great learning experience for me.
That's excellent to hear about that. And Tangam, tell us something about it. I mean, you have been shifting gears, literally shifting gears from automobile industry to education to, I mean, how do you manage?
And then that's what, when you use the word versatility, I just
Yeah.
realized that the basically, I love the idea of measuring productivity through the parameter of money. Okay. So you call it business in the normal thing, but I genuinely feel that your productivity, forget the bad money and the mafia and all the normal money, average people. But
Yeah.
making money is really one of the best parameters to measure your productivity. So, and I think the best thing to do that is through business. Okay. So it need not be money. It could be, as you through the NGOs, when you do something for someone and you are empowering them and they in turn are able to sustain. So same thing. So I use money in that sense. Basically helping people not just to survive or yourself to not just survive but thrive. So whether it is automobile, whether it is education, whether it is getting new products that I am into now, trying to find the best edutech companies, which, to reach out to people, but it's all the same. It's just to tap into the productivity and the team productivity and channelize it and make it into a sustainable thing. The only work which I do without a thought of productivity is writing, honestly. That is, to help me to survive. So that has nothing to do with thriving. So that is something which you can't help. It just happens. Just as Sindhu rightly said, you have to, you have to let it out. And that is what maintains your sanity.
Yeah.
And helps. It is more like a detox thing,
Yeah,
when you
yeah. Very true.
yeah, so auto maintenance, an industry, I wrote it completely for academic reasons because I really wanted to dwell on the industry, which I feel is not completely. It's been very under represented, and the productivity in it and the profitability in that industry is very high. And I feel that a lot of it is not mainstream because it is. Though the automobile industry is at the helm of the thing, the maintenance is not there. But the second book, Krite Pratikrite, it was completely on, it's more of a fictional writing, and that is more of a bend to your feelings.
Very true.
So, king, queen, falling in love, and all those,
We do have some kind of stories like that also in our books because as we were discussing, I mean, some of our authors, they have experience in writing is also a process that the first story that you write cannot be the best one. I mean, it's a process. You learn with the process, right? It's like I often always refer to when I was a child, we used to have this, boring a pump. So when you bore a pump, the water that comes out first, it's muddy. It's not clear water. It takes time to tap into that clear water. So it's a process. You have to keep on writing, and then you see that, how you can really, your thought, the actual thought can come across, and not the, the description part is a bit less. This book is really encouraging authors, especially women from different backgrounds, to come across and write together. So it's about the journey. I mean, I guess all of you have felt part that that this is kind of a family. It's kind of a sisterhood, and we are really encouraging each other, because what happens is sometimes we are so engaged in our own activities, we are not able to come out of it or do it alone. I have so many friends who have been attending numerous number of workshops for writing, but when it comes to writing a book, they never manage to get the time. But when we are together, we encourage each other. So it's a very nice process. Nandini, tell me something about your writing process. And you have a 4-year-old child also. How do you manage that together, your work and family?
Yeah, so, with a 4-year-old, as all of you can imagine, I mean, because all of your mothers, so you're always on your toes. I mean, being a mother, you're always on your toes. Being a working mother, you're always on your toes. And also a little more challenging because I'm a reporter. So, so that becomes, I have my hands full, and sometimes I feel so overwhelmed. So talking about the experience specifically and how I sort of managed to find time. And like you said, Brinda, very correctly, that, when you're working together, when that bonhomie works, you sort of push yourself, you push the frontier to sort of get the best out of yourself. You find time, you squeeze in some time in your busy schedule to do that. So anyway, that's what I did. I mean, I remember in the mornings I would wake up, go to a mall, sit quietly with my laptop so that there are no distractions. I can cut out all the noise, and then work before I get my office work. To push myself further and to find time. It's been an incredible experience. Honestly speaking, when it comes to creative writing. So I look forward to, many more engagements with all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there any channel or video that maybe our audience they can watch you, or, listen to you talking, like you mentioned about this morning voice in the radio station? Is there any current program that is ongoing that we can?
Yeah, so if you go to Khaleej Times Facebook page, I have, so recently Sindhu would know, Mars mission, the Emirates Mars mission was big, Mars orbit insertion, so her probe. So I was covering that. So that was a big thing for UAE. So the spacecraft going into the Martian orbit. So you can watch us, watch me on KhaleejTimes.com, Facebook page. And
Wonderful. That's excellent. Sindhu, tell us about your writing process. I remember you gave a wonderful interview last time also for She Celebrates, and you were talking about your writing process, and you had a very good message also for the younger generation. So what would you like to add here?
Brinda, one of the things that I've realized is I don't really have a formula. It isn't there. And I've allowed it to happen, honestly. I've really just allowed it to happen. I've not forced it. It doesn't work for me if it is forced.
Yeah.
I have to sit back, I have to close my eyes, and I have to let my mind wander, and I will find that story. So it was about, breaking those boundaries, whether it is mental or not. I had to break those boundaries down to say, no, it is there. I just need to find it. So the way I find it would be different for the way Brinda finds it. It'd be different for Thangam and for Nandini. So each one to our own at the end of the day. But the fact is, once you know how the motivation comes, then the story will happen. So I know a lot of my friends, and I have a brilliant girl, that I work with in the office. She doesn't realize how brilliant she is. And she's so busy living her life and having her parties and, all of that. But when I literally forced her to come with me and I said, let's do a story. Let's do what was the 100-word story, just like that. Let's just close our eyes for a second and let's write something down. You won't believe it, what came out of her when she allowed it to happen. She never thought that she could do it. She never thought that she had it in her. And what I'm trying to say is, I never thought that I could do it either. if this forum hadn't happened, if Brinda hadn't made that call, if I hadn't come together with you ladies, it wouldn't have happened for me either. So sometimes you need that hand. Sometimes you need someone to open that door for you. And for me, this group is that. So, you know, some in your life, it's once in a lifetime, this for me. And a lot of us, some of us are fortunate to find it, some of us are not. What we as women can do in this forum is to open the doors for more ladies, and that is truly beautiful.
Excellent.
Truly beautiful. And I have to say this, one of the things that Tangam mentioned, this is something that has struck me quite a bit whenever I go back home. You know, my hometown back in Kerala is it's not in the town, it's in a village. And but irrespective of that, there are, you know, one of the shops, one of the local grocery stores is completely run by women, completely. From the loading and unloading of the truck to the billing to every little thing in that store is done by women. And as a woman, when you walk into that store, there is always a very special smile or a greeting that you get. And you know, it's beautiful to see, and it's beautiful to see how women have come out. Some of these women are not literate. They are not literate. They come from villages and backward areas, but they've taken the courage to come out and do something.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's amazing.
Excellent. So we shall end it on this note, this positive note. I think I forgot to introduce myself in the beginning also. So I'm also one of the writers in this book, She Reflects, and I'm based in Switzerland. It's -10 degrees here. It's cold and snowy, and so it's kind of a contrast now with UAE. You might be sitting close to a sand mountain. I'm sitting close to a snow mountain at the moment. I work as a publications manager for an international association for the last 16 years, and I've also worked with Times of India, Nandini, but not on the journalism side, more on the marketing side. And I'm also an artist. And yes, I think that's all about me. I have 2 boys. The older one will be a teenager very soon. Sindhu also is the mother of a teenager, and Tangam, your son is almost 10 now. Am I right?
Oh, he's 13.
He's 13. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Okay. Right. How time flies, huh?
Time flies indeed.
Right.
Yeah. So before we start talking, you know, mother talks and all this, sharing that kind of stories. So we will take your leave. So we would encourage all our audience to please buy the book, She Reflects, because profits from the book sales will go for social causes, you know, different projects for social causes. And the book is available in Amazon and different other stores. If you want to get in touch with us, you can always contact us. It's bosecreativepublishers@gmail.com, or you can get in touch with any of our authors here. So thank you very much, Sindhu, Tangam, Nandini.
Pleasure.
It was wonderful talking to you today.
Pleasure.
Thank you, ladies. You have an amazing day ahead.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Bye-bye.
Same to you.
Bye-bye. Bye now.